Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Nationwide, and I am Olajide Bello. Many thanks for joining us. Now, the Senate has resolved to mandate the Committee on Niger Delta to investigate the illegal renewal of the tenure of the current board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunle reports that this followed a motion moved by Senator representing Bayelsa Central, Emmanuel Polka.
Contravention of the NDDC Act portends grave danger to the relative peace we enjoy in the Niger Delta.
We ask our Committee on NDDC to liaise with Office of the SGF to look into the real issues so that we deal with it.
I think in the spirit of the relation that we're not here just to always antagonize the executive. We have a new SGF, and we must also show that. So I think in the Senate, I would just move. This is the same prayer. Let this matter be referred to the NDDC and let him take it up with the SGF. Those in favor say aye. Aye.
The lawmakers also resolved to probe the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority and summon key players on the issue of $350 million earmarked for the power sector. Passing for second reading was a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic, Cabo, sponsored by Senator Jibrin Barrow, representing Kano North. Now, a bill seeking to establish the National Council on Climate Change and to provide legal framework for the mainstreaming of climate change responses and actions into government policy formulation and implementation has been passed by the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo spoke to the Chairman House Committee on Climate Change, who is also the sponsor of the bill.
Well, this is one of the bills that I will tell you that in the 8th House of Representatives has received a large turnout of stakeholders during the public hearing. And today the bill has passed for third reading. And when a bill passes for third reading in the parliamentary chamber, it means that it has been passed. The sponsor of that bill is the Chairman House Committee on Climate Change as well, Representative Samuel Onibo. He has joined us to tell us more on this particular bill that the House has passed today. What actually does this bill strive to achieve for Nigeria?
This bill is a very important bill in that it's now going to open the ways for investors, for practitioners, and climate change to get really involved, knowing that there is a legal backing. Because before now, there was no legal backing. And we are very hopeful that now that the bill has passed third reading in the House of Representatives, it's not going to take a long time before it goes through the Senate for it to be done with the National Assembly.
Okay. But would this bill encourage public-private partnership in climate change collaboration?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Because in structuring the bill, the drafters or framers of the bill have also taken into consideration the fact that if you bring in the private sector, it has the potential to open up everywhere and bring in a lot of investment. In fact, part of the content of the bill is that the climate change funds, they'll be shared into a ratio of 40 and 60. 40 for the public sector and 60 for the private sector. So you can see the enormous potential that abound.
Thank you very much for your time.
You are welcome.
Well, the House also passed two bills for first reading, and one of them is a bill that seeks to amend the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. This is what we have so far from the Green Chamber, but at the end of the day, we'll bring to you an update of what has transpired on the floor of the House of Representatives at Wednesday's plenary.
Many thanks, Ignatius. And moving Away from the lawmakers now, the federal government has attributed the recent successes in the area of trade and investment to policies introduced towards repositioning the economy to create wealth, ensure inclusive growth, and generate employment. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, in the news conference said the latest world ranking in the ease of doing business has vindicated the government and the reform it is carrying out in the sector. Kuliadeye reports.
Besides moving up 24 places in the ease of doing business globally, Nigeria now ranks among the best economies. This feat, the minister said, has raised investors' confidence with governments unrelenting in the execution of developmental reforms and creating a conducive environment for doing business in order to achieve more. As part of efforts to fast-track the nation's economic development, Nigeria will be hosting the DA Ministerial Industrial Cooperation meeting next week.
6 priority sectors have been identified in the industrial and economic cooperation between member states. And these are namely trade, agriculture and food security, industrial cooperation and SMEs, transportation, energy and minerals, and tourism.
He said the anti-dumping mechanism, which is aimed at primarily protecting the nation's manufacturing sector, is still on course. This position will not affect government encouraging foreign investors to embrace the friendly business environment in the country.
How it is now easier to register companies, it is now easier to get construction permits, it is now easier to pay your taxes, and Nigeria is now within the top 100 countries in ease of doing business.
The minister said his ministry has continued to enjoy good collaboration with other ministries, departments and agencies in the progress and landmark achievements attained under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
Moving on now to agriculture, federal government is evolving strategies that will enhance agricultural production in the country. Minister of Agriculture, Aldo Ogbe, said these in Kano during a training program for seed inspectors and identification and proper use of improved seed varieties. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Agriculture is the major sector the federal government is using to diversify the Nigeria's economy. The accelerated food production is also considered as the easiest way to cut down the nation's annual import bill with a view to stabilizing the value of Naira. Although there is a significant improvement in the last 2 years, there is still concern about the yields, which experts believe is low due to use of poor seed varieties by most Nigerian farmers. This informs the move by the federal government to encourage local production of improved seed varieties and use of such to achieve the desired result. Minister of Agriculture Audu Obe, who taught some seed production companies in Kano, also presided over a training session for seed inspectors to ensure best practices in seed production, marketing and handling.
The quantum of improved seed needed by farmers every season is 500,000 tons. In other words, if you were to load them in trailers, they will fill up about 180 trailers every year for us to give farmers to plant so they can get better yields.
Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje said to complement the Buhari administration's efforts in this direction, Kano State government has expended more than 200 million naira on the production of improved tomato seeds for distribution to farmers. Director General National Agricultural Seed Council, Phillips Ojo, said the seed inspectors inaugurated were trained to ensure that products sold to farmers are of high quality and standard. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has reduced by 50% the cost of registering products to encourage micro, small and medium enterprises in Nigeria. Acting Director General NAFDAC, Ademola Maiduguri, stated these at the Stakeholders Consultative Forum in Kano. Elizabeth Yila Lamido has the details.
The consultative meeting is an avenue meant to tackle problems faced by micro, small and medium enterprises in registering their products and other tariffs of NAFDAC. The forum is also to serve as a platform for the agency to dialogue with stakeholders and have a better understanding of the challenges they face during product registration.
renewal of the registration that has been decentralized. You don't need to go to Lagos or Abuja. It's going to be dealt with at the zonal level.
What is obtainable now is that we go to the NAVDAC, register, and still standard organization come to us also, we have to register. And we know we are operating at SME small scale level. So it is consuming and it's eating up into our capital.
Representative of the Acting Director General, NAVDAC, the Director of Special Duties, Abubakar Jimo, said the measures taken by the agency will help reduce 75% of the problems faced by MSMEs.
We have also reduced our timeline to 90 days. It takes 90 days maximum now for you to get the product registered.
The Acting Director General assures that NAVDAC will continue to engage stakeholders in consultative meetings to give them ease of doing businesses. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
This is Nationwide. More stories after these messages. Don't go away.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thank you so much.
Merci infiniment. These awards are really continental.
I love Africa.
Fantastic project.
Means a lot to me.
Africa is one.
All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA 2017, in association with African Union and the Lagos State Government. On Sunday, November 12, 2017, at the Echo Hotels and Suites, Lagos, Nigeria. Red carpet starts at 4 p.m. Live broadcast to 84 countries starts at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are only 10,000 naira. VIP 50,000 naira and 100,000 naira. Get your tickets at aerobot.com, areatickets.com, or afrima.org. Africa is coming. Brace for history.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers. Experience catering beyond the horizon.
Glad to know you're still there, and if you're just joining us, this is NTA Nationwide. Now, our first port of call is the Center of Excellence, where Jennifer is standing by for top stories from that zone. Jennifer.
Thank you, Olajide. Good to have you join us in Lagos. As the countdown to the Yuletide season begins, the need to enhance security on the roads by ensuring free flow of traffic necessitated a new partnership between the Lagos State Police Command and the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority. The new arrangement is expected to sustain the enforcement of the Lagos State traffic law across the metropolis. Musa Toliat has the details.
The move by the State Police Command and the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority to establish a partnership on traffic management is born out of the realization that gridlock hinders effective security patrol to safeguard lives and property. Commissioner of Police Imoemi Egal, who visited the Chief Executive Officer of LASMA, Chris Olakpe, said establishing a joint patrol with LASMA would help bring sanity on the roads. He, however, warned motorists not to disobey traffic rules, as the state government has given the police the mandate to enforce traffic laws to the letter.
We are going after areas that are known for their traditional gridlock. The operation has started earnestly today. Any person arrested for disobeying Lagos State traffic laws will be taken before the magistrate.
The synergy between the police and LASMA will also help safeguard the traffic management officials from incessant attacks while carrying out their legitimate responsibilities.
When you see the police vis-a-vis LASMA working together, then it's a note to members of the public, particularly those who are undesirable, to know that there is no time for that, because the police is there to protect them.
LASMA Chief Executive Officer later presented a CUG communication gadgets to the police traffic unit to enhance interagency communication. As part of efforts to ensure effective service delivery in the state anti-crime units, a committee set up by the Commissioner of Police concluded sittings and presented a blueprint to the Commissioner of Police at the State Command. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And on health, in order to reduce and prevent outbreak of diseases within the country, medical laboratory scientists say the federal government must prioritize medical research. This was the view of speakers at the 4th Scientific Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research in Lagos. Joy Ken Abakoya reports that the conference is tagged Funding Health Research in a Depressed Economy.
Following the outbreak of Lassa fever and the monkeypox virus in some parts of the country, medical researchers at this conference have the opinion that investing in medical research is critical to building an effective healthcare system for the citizenry. They say the spread of diseases such as HIV and AIDS, Ebola, hepatitis and malaria can be reduced to the barest minimum when adequate funds are available to researchers for long and short-term projects.
Government should try to prioritize research and help to fund research, because what research is going to do today will determine the future of the healthcare system of Nigeria.
Guest speaker, a professor of translational medicine, Simon Taylor Robinson, highlighted early detection and diagnosis, promotion of primary health care, and promulgation of a legal framework to assist medical researchers as effective measures in fighting diseases.
A lot of the overseas aid is tied to the fact that there should be matched funding from the local governments to be able to do that. And if one can tie into that, then everything is a partnership.
Experts at the conference conclude that the conduct of health research should not be seen as a liability to the nation, but as a tool to attaining economic growth. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakuya, NTA News.
The need for prompt action against diseases that could result in disability to rescue the rising cases of disabilities in Nigeria has been raised. This was at a summit organized by the Lagos State Government Office of Special Advisor on Social Development. Imoleayo Tukede has the details.
Statistics by UNICEF and UNESCO show that over 150 million children aged 0 to 18 are living with disabilities worldwide. Children with disabilities are also said to be most excluded and discriminated due to lack of understanding and knowledge about their challenges. This summit by the Lagos State Government is to adopt a solid structured program for early identification and management of disabilities. The President, Speech Pathology and Audiology Association of Nigeria, SPAN, Professor Julius Ademokoya says early intervention can reduce the disabling effects of disabilities and can control them from graduating to problems that may become uncontrollable.
Children who are helped as early as possible get well adjusted.
What we're seeing is that that child stands a chance of developing a lot better than if they didn't get any intervention at all.
Other speakers further emphasized the need for the government and society to come to terms with disabilities and provide necessary structures to make life comfortable for persons with disabilities in the society.
encourage them, support them with the wherewithal, and not stigmatize them.
The stakeholder summit had in attendance the Deputy Governor of Lagos State as well as other government officials. The theme of the summit is Ability in Disability, a Stitching Time Saves 9. In Lagos, Imoli Ayotukidi, NTA News.
Now those are the stories at this hour from Lagos. Back to Olajide in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Jennifer, from our Lagos Network Center there. The timely presentation of 2018 budget estimates of 8.6 trillion naira before the joint sitting of the National Assembly by President Buhari has been thumped by analysts and politicians alike. Talatu Ezurike reports that the guests and callers on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live all expressed optimism in consolidation of the economic gains so far achieved.
Addressing insecurity, fighting corruption and growing the economy have been the priorities of the present government, and the 2018 budget, just like the previous two by government, seeks to address them. Analysts say the government, through articulated budgets, policies and ongoing reforms, especially revamping agriculture, has taken the nation technically out of recession. The gains, they say, also include World Bank report of Nigeria being amongst top 10 reformers globally and favorable ranking in the ease of doing business. The federal government is offering Nigerians much more with a timely presentation of the 2018 budget estimates of 8.6 trillion naira to the joint sitting of the National Assembly.
By all accounts, 2018 is expected to be a year of better outcomes. I am now asking you to continue to support our economic policies in order to consolidate and sustain on the success achieved so far.
The 2018 budget, many say, looks good, especially the provision 500 billion naira for social investment program. But one question many will want to know is that, should the nation borrow to finance budget?
Nigeria, in actual fact, may not need to borrow if the agencies of government that bring out revenue were making this revenue available to government. Some of these agencies get richer and behave as if they were a government themselves. So what we need to do this year is to make sure that we do an aggressive pursuit of the agencies.
A particular chief executive is found wanting that what monies generated by the agency are not being remitted. Of course, there should be a penalty. If that penalty has to do with loss of job, so be it.
There are high hopes on the 2018 budget based on factors that include restored security and stability of the foreign exchange market.
The central bank governor is targeting inflation by half year next year in single digits. If this happens, then what tends to happen also is the fact that the rates also will drop. So the cost of domestic borrowing will also reduce.
Of Mambila hydroelectricity project is another very important project too that will assist us in getting about over 3,050 megawatts of electricity. This will now bankroll the interest of industrialization in the country.
If this continuity can go on, a whole lot of things can change in Nigeria within 5-6 years.
Becoming obvious that Nigeria is on the move again to be counted amongst the progressives. These leaders believe are achievable with resolve to address grievances through dialogue and peaceful engagement. Talatu Ezurike, NTA News.
Increasing population growth, poor infrastructure, and dwindling resources have been identified as some of the challenges bedeviling proper planning in the country. These were part of submissions by some town planners as they join the rest of the world in commemorating Town Planning Day in Abuja.
It has been established that a society that is not planned will either be chaotic or not suitable for human habitation over time. As cities and settlements grow, people of different incomes and strata tend to live in places that suit their needs. In Nigerian cities, like most developing countries, people who have low incomes usually live in informal settlements without good living conditions. This perhaps explains the choice of inclusive cities and communities as the theme for this year's World Town Planning.
Leaving no one behind.
Kabir Yari, Programs Manager, UN Habitat Nigeria, says the issues are huge and need prioritization.
Charge the rich more and charge the poor less using cross-subsidy. So that if you are building, you tell the private developers, develop 10 for rich people, develop 20 for medium income people, and develop 50 for low income people. So if you do that, at least you can cross-subsidize.
Land is fixed and does not increase, but that is not the same with the growing population living on it. And that, of course, explains why town planners are stressing the need to have affordable planning with the available resources in order to ensure affordable housing and better living conditions for all.
In whatever way you can think of, be it transport, leisure, housing, even your office space, the town planner has something to do with it. And so in doing that, we want to be sure that we have created the solution to most of the hardship we face.
We should look and explore other sources of funding our infrastructural facilities. Not that we should limit our thinking to budgetary provisions.
Like they say here in Nigeria, failing to plan is planning to fail. Town planners insist that proper planning is critical to enable Nigeria achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Media practitioners again converged in Abuja for self-appraisal and agenda setting in promoted national unity and productivity. Mamso Damian Dati reports that the event organized by Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, stressed that truths that will rid the nation are falsehood, injustice and unfairness are fundamental in the process of nation building.
Gathered here are stakeholders from the public and private sector who understand the crucial role of the media in upholding national unity, especially in view of current challenges rocking the tranquility and oneness of Nigeria through ungathered utterances and publications on various mediums.
By providing, among other things, political awareness, being gatekeepers of the democracy, promoters of national identity and cohesion, as well as striving to make the nation achieve the desired progress and development to meet contemporary challenges.
We seem to project what we want instead of projecting the reality. Access to people demands a very responsible behavior. New platforms that are being used as alternative media must be ready to play by the rules.
There is need for mass mobilization of the human and natural resources through the mass media for socio-economic empowerment, job creation, infrastructural development, and poverty reduction.
The issue of national integration, cohesion, unity, and of course, the promotion of economic prosperity for this great country, Nigeria. There's no any other time that we do this more than that.
Social media have no gatekeeper. So for us in Nigeria, both governments, politicians, our own behavior had to reflect the true spirit of one Nigeria.
As primary custodians of information, the guest lecturer, Dan Agbese, says the media must play a pivotal role of building a just and fair society in which no one is oppressed by reason of ethnicity, religion, or political affiliation. She stressed that builders of the nation must be told the truth for justice to reign.
Set our nation free from falsehood, injustice, and unfairness. Let us give muscle to legal and administrative steps we take towards building a nation that gives us hope and sufficiently protects our interests.
Agbese recommended a system that makes allowances for accommodating the aspirations of citizenry, considering its complexity and multidiversity. In Abuja, Mamso Damian Ati, NTA News.
Time to join our Just Network Center for top stories from that zone, and Femichit is our guide. Femichit, over to you.
Thank you, Jide, and welcome to JOS.
The Plateau State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps has embarked on special patrol to ensure that drivers plying the roads are duly certified and adhere to traffic rules and regulations. State Commander of the FRSC, Patricia Emodi, says the exercise is part of activities to sensitize road users on road safety measures during the Ember months. Nenrot Nina Dinget has details.
It was a thorough exercise as both private and commercial vehicle owners were scrutinized to ensure that they were in possession of relevant documents, especially the driver's license, and that their vehicles were not overloaded. Sector Commander Patricia Emodi, who led the team on the exercise, said the exercise is aimed at reminding road users to do the needful and that the FRSC will not rest on its oars at ensuring that the highways are safe.
Once we find you without a license, your vehicle is impounded. And then until we bring evidence of either initiating the process of getting a license or paying for a renewal, your vehicle remains with us. I can tell you authoritatively that in the last 1 month, there has been a lot of improvement in people's attitude towards licenses.
Commenting on the conflicting roles between the FRSC and VIO on checking of vehicle particulars, the FRSC commander has this to say.
Even in the production of the driver's license, is a tripartite arrangement. You have the Board of Internal Revenue, where the whole process begins. Then you have the VIO, who does the inspection of vehicles and the testing of the drivers. Then you have the FRSC that does the final production of the license. So it's actually a synergy between the three organizations.
The special patrol exercise is to be carried out across the 17 local government areas of the state to ensure only licensed drivers operate on the highways. In Jos, narrates Nina Dinget, NTA News.
The need for governments at all levels to institute control measures against microbial infections in the country has come to the fore. This was the view of a professor of microbiology and bioengineering, Festus Chukwuemeka Onwuliri, during the 84th inaugural lecture of the University of Jos. Ekemrem Kaneng Laduja has details.
The lecture, titled Microorganisms, Your Fools, Plants Playing an Indispensable Role, drew out the point that microorganisms are responsible for a wide range of infections, such as emerging diseases like monkeypox, Ebola, and emerging diseases like hepatitis B. Professor Onwuliri pointed out that over 7,000 different plant species have antimicrobial properties which can be used to fight infections.
These herbs have a lot of antimicrobial properties. The only thing is, do we have the capacity to extract them? Once you have the capacity to extract them, they'll be able to shrink, they'll be able to remove all these diseases that are deadly in this country.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Jos, Professor Sebastian Miloko, while applauding Professor Onwuliri, appealed to parents and society to stop the claim of academic superiority, but encourage academic excellence. Professor Festus Onwuliri, who is a biochemist, microbiologist, botanist, and medical laboratory scientist, has to his credit produced mouthwashes and wound healing ointments, all from local plants. In Jos, Ekeman Kaneng NTA News.
As Plateau State government commences preparations for the conduct of local government elections, the State House of Assembly Committee on Security and Labor has visited the police commissioner to discuss the recent security challenges in some parts of the state. Ijoma Ozomena tells us more.
The chairman of the committee, Daniel Dem, who led the delegation to the State Police Command, told the police commissioner not to hesitate in issuing a bill that can bring about lasting peace on the plateau.
We want to encourage that some of the bad ones that are there, I know informations can come in, that once we fish out the bad ones, I think the respect for the police, the respect for the security will be there.
The State Commissioner of Police, Onde Ude, stated that the command's activities have been hampered by a shortage of manpower, but officers and training will soon be deployed to various police stations to boost the force. The police chief assured adequate security will be provided to ensure hitch-free elections in the forthcoming local government elections in the state.
And we shall also be demanding of the politicians and members of the public, one from the politicians to play by the rules.
He used the forum to advise members of the public to stick by the rules guiding elections to have a hitch-free exercise in the state. In Jos, Ijema Ozemina, NTA News.
And that's the size of our bulletin from Jos. Jide, it's back to you for more news.
Many thanks, Femichit. You're still on to Nationwide. We take another break. The news continues shortly. Don't go away.
Okay, I don't watch the whole car. Okay, I don't. Okay, 500 naira me. Okay, you don't inspire my life.
Adamu, which kind of magic 500 naira won't do? You don't even reach you to take carry me comot safe.
Now good day. But he reached me to enter draw to meet with Dangote one-on-one.
With the FGNI app and just 500 naira, you stand a chance to meet one-on-one with Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man. As the Be Inspired meetings gives Nigerians a chance to meet one-on-one with icons. To qualify for the draw, download FGNI app from Apple Store or Google Play Store. Go to the Be Inspired section and follow the instructions. Cost of travel and accommodation of all winners within Nigeria will be borne by the organizers.
Entries close at midnight on Sunday, 12th of November, 2017.
Terms and conditions apply.
Honey, let's just pay now. The kids are bored. I am too.
We're traveling next week. We can't just waste money like that and subscribe for a month when we won't be around to use it.
Worried about wasted subscription? Then make a smart choice by paying for when you want with our groundbreaking new StarTimes Pay Per Day package. You can now pay for exactly how long you want. A day, 2 days, a week? The choice is yours. Never worry about wasted subscription again. Just enjoy all your favorite channels and much more. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
A world-class event with its spectacle in full glare.
Enlightening and educating.
It's the NIPR 2017 AGM and Conference.
Theme, Rebranding Nigeria, People, Government and Economy.
Wednesday, November 9, CEOs in the arena. High-level session on reputation, strictly for chief executives. Lead facilitator, Robin Develas, Chairman Bresson Mistella, South Africa. 10 a.m. live, Transco Hilton Hotel, Abuja.
And professional workshop for communication executives, 9 a.m. at Sheraton Hotels, Abuja.
Thursday, November 9, annual conference by 9 a.m. and awards dinner by 7 p.m. all live, Sheraton Hotels, Abuja.
Host Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed, FNIPR Minister of Information.
Special guest of honor, Alhaji Mohammed Bello, Minister FCT Administration.
Keynote speakers, Hajia Zainab Ahmed, Minister of State Budget and National Planning, and Frank Nweke Jr., former Minister of Information.
Also speaking, Dr. Rotimi Oladele, FNIPR, President, NIPR, and a panel of other great speakers.
Host, His Royal Highness Dr. Tayo Hastrop, Chairman, NIPR FCT.
You can't afford to miss out.
To register now, visit www.niprfct.org.ng.
For sponsorship and inquiries, call 0803-383-6911, 0803-965-2051, 0805-612-4706. Email niprabuja agm2017 @gmail.com.
The 2017 NIPR FCT AGM and Conference.
Rebranding Nigeria, better and together. Dr. Ike Neliako, FNIPR, Chairman 2017 AGM Planning Committee, announcer.
Glad to know you're still there. Now to some security matters. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokite Ibas, has reiterated the commitment of the Nigerian Navy to reducing criminal activities on Nigerian territorial waters. He said this shortly after assessing the operational and administrative readiness of the naval units and establishment under the Central Naval Command. Kelvin Wiche reports.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokite Ibas, noted that Nigerian Navy is combat ready to tackle any intrusion or criminal activities on Nigerian waterways.
We do not wait until a threat comes from a particular group before the Navy acts. So what we do is to protect lives and properties. Any threat is taken especially against the nation's assets or nation's individuals is taken seriously. And the Nigerian Navy will continue to do that which it has to do, to protect the assets and properties of Nigeria.
As part of the inspection tour, the Chief of Naval Staff had a dialogue with officers and ratings at the Naval Engineering College, Saple, for better performance and productivity.
The overall assessment is that the Navy's presence has reduced the incidences of pirates at sea.
The inspection continues to other commands in the country. In Saple, Kevin Wechi, NTA News.
We now join Mohammed in our Maiduguri Network Center as he tells us about NGO's contribution to plight of IDPs. Mohammed?
Thank you, Olajide, and a warm welcome to Maiduguri. At the peak of insurgency, Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, became safe haven for thousands of people that fled remote communities. The influx of the displaced persons attracted global attention, thus paving way for the commencement of humanitarian activities in aid of the victims. Lami Ali takes a look at how this development impacted the socio-economic life of host communities.
Like most state capitals, Maiduguri is cosmopolitan, home to people from various backgrounds and ideologies belonging to the low, medium, and high-income class as depicted in their lifestyles. In the past 4 years, all these have changed as residents now live with new neighbors, internally displaced persons, and international humanitarian partners, which, according to them, has exerted pressure on available infrastructure. Most of the INGOs, having understood and based on their experiences of similar situations elsewhere, engage themselves with provision of basic amenities like accommodation, conveniences, water, health services, among others, as is evidenced in the various projects implemented in parts of the city.
We have felt many impact of the INGOs and the NGOs in our communities. They have greatly assisted both the IDPs and the host community in terms of food support, water supply, sanitations, and what have you.
If you go to neighborhoods and local government, you will see Action Aid, or is it Action Against Hunger, doing conditional cash transfer to locals, giving them food and them money. Is it like something like voucher or something? They do it.
In spite of these interventions, residents of Maiduguri are complaining.
Previous years, the cost of living were okay, but unlike this year, everything, so since last year and this year, everything is very high.
We have challenges. You see, the coming of these INGOs have made life to be difficult to some people. Take, for instance, the issue of accommodation. Houses that you could get in time past, you could get somewhere, maybe 50,000. Now if you go, it's only 200,000.
Many believe that the current situation is temporary, as the liberation of hitherto Boko Haram occupied areas has paved the way for the resettlement of internally displaced persons, and soon the residents of Maiduguri will once again enjoy the good old life as it is in this ancient city.
In Maiduguri, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, those injured following suicide bomb attacks on the outskirts of Maiduguri on Tuesday morning are now responding to treatment at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital funded by the federal government's Victim Support Fund. Here are details of the report. According to Borno State Police Command, the perpetrators tried to cross over via the retaining wall at London, Sudan of Gallery area through farmlands, but were sighted by security operatives deployed to keep watch at that axis. The first bomber detonated the explosives vest when she saw the security personnel.
The second one, in that panic, also detonated and killed the third one. Then the fourth one that was remaining tried to cleverly join the queue of persons who were being screened because of the situation, who were being screened before entering into the town. And then also detonated, killing herself and injuring about 8 persons.
The sound of the explosions frightened farmers around the area who started running back to town for safety, and while they were being screened before entrance, the fourth suicide bomber was gunned down by the military. Those injured from the third explosion were evacuated to the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital.
All of them are stable. They are receiving adequate, and all the treatment we're giving them is free. Nobody is paying for anything. This is from the money we receive from Victim Support Fund and from the teaching hospital.
The hospital, he added, has procured drugs and surgical requirements that will cater for any major casualty from such attacks. That's all from this end. It's back to Olajide in Abuja.
Many thanks, Mohammed. For Nigeria to witness rapid growth and development, citizens must imbibe core values as enshrined in Section 2, Subsection 23 of the Nigerian Constitution. This was the view of speakers as the National Orientation Agency took the Change Begins With Me campaign to Nasarawa State. Basi Taikman reports.
Speaking to students of Government Secondary School Marara Bakaru in Nasarawa State, the Director General National Orientation Agency, who was represented, said it is the duty of parents to join hands with the government in ensuring that Nigerian children imbibe good values.
Change that we are all expecting begins with each of us, and catching them young is a very good way to do it.
And if the children at this age, which is an impressive age, will imbibe the national ethics as we have been hearing here, I think we can see a brighter future for this country.
The representative of the National Drug Law Enforcement and other security agencies observed that drug abuse is the engine room of all crimes in the world and advised students to avoid negative trends from peer group influence.
Some of them don't have the intention, but they are forced to join by some of their seniors, which is a very, very big problem to all of us.
Nigerian youths were generally advised to do away with vices that could bring shame to their families and the society if they must realize their dreams of building a better future. Basi Taipa, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. Time now to join our Benin Network Center for more reports from that zone, and Ogochukwuka is standing by.
Thank you, Olajide. Welcome to Benin. Edo State government says it will continue to support the activities of the various religious groups in order to promote harmony. Governor Godwin Obaseki stated this when he received the report of the 2017 Hajj operations from officials of the Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board. Guloke Naini reports.
Governor Obaseki, who described the exercise as one of the pillars in Islam, said, as a government that believes in the spiritual well-being of the people, no sacrifice will be too much in that regard. He promised that preparations will start in earnest and government will provide the necessary support.
We will take the reports, lessons learned from this year's Hajj, one of them being that we did not start preparing on time, and those corrections will be made, and I can assure the Amir Hajj that next year's preparation will start on time.
The Amir Hajj and Chief Imam of Benin, Alhaji Abdul Fattah and Abulele, who described the exercise as eventful, ascribed the success of the exercise to the support given by the state government.
We went safe and sound with the help of the governor. We came back also with Alhamdulillah. We went there, we obeyed the laws and regulations. Nobody absconded, nobody died, and we all came safe and sound.
A total of 260 pilgrims participated in this year's exercise. In Benin, good luck in NTA News.
Arrangements have been set in motion for youths in Ondo State to benefit from the federal government's 1.5 billion naira agricultural development scheme fund. To this end, a delegation from the Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria met with the state government to work out modalities for the takeoff of the scheme. Doris Olumoko has details.
The arrangement, the federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, will make available loan of 1.5 billion naira, while Ondo State government is required to provide 100 hectares of land per cluster. Leader of the CBN delegation, Amina Umar, said the thrust of the agricultural development scheme is to reduce rural-urban migration.
Youths are put into clusters and registered as such. If they're going into poultry, there will be the poultry cluster. If they're going into fish, they will form a kind of cooperative or, association.
He urged the federal government to consider geographical location of states while giving incentive to farmers and appealed for an upward review of the sum.
The entire northeast, northwest, outward state area. We will repair that in the northeast and northwest is very easy. But here in southwest, you can see the forest.
The federal government's agricultural development scheme is targeted as 10,000 youths between the ages of 18 to 25 in Ondo State. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
The Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewa II, wants the Danish ambassador to Nigeria, Joben Gatterman, to use his office to discourage human trafficking and other forms of illegal migration to his country. The monarch made a call when the ambassador visited him. Steve Lonaimokolo reports.
Oba Ewa II, who decried the act of human trafficking and illegal migration to Europe, said, if there is no demand, there will not be supply. Hence, he solicited the support of the Danish ambassador towards curbing the ugly trend.
Use of the offices to advise the government of Denmark to terminate policies, to also discourage, perhaps together with the EU country members, to discourage demand for human trafficking.
The Danish ambassador commended Oba Ewa II for providing purposeful leadership in Benin Kingdom, which he said has engendered peace, progress, development in the kingdom.
We will try to get a dialogue with the people about human trafficking and why it's important to say no to human trafficking.
The Danish ambassador promised to initiate some agricultural projects in Edo State. In Benin, Steve Lonaimokolo, NTA News.
And as our contribution from Benin is back to Abuja for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Ogok Chukruka. And now to education. The federal government says it will continue to support the ongoing effort of the National Universities Commission to deepen the open and distance learning mode of education in the country. Minister of Education Adamu said this in a message at a symposium on policy and practice in open and distant learning in Abuja. Olayin Kauju reports.
In this auditorium are decision makers from the nation's universities who are here to deliberate on how to enhance the policy and practice of open and distance learning education in Nigeria. The symposium is a collaborative effort between the National Universities Commission and the University of London and seeks to provide access to quality education and equity in educational opportunities. Minister of Education Adamu, represented by Director of Tertiary Education Joel Ojo, said open and distance learning increases access and flexibility of learning and as such must be encouraged.
Permit me to stress
that to attain the desired international stature, the skills and capacity of the operators need to be built and sharpened.
We will do everything possible through provision of legislative framework and of course resources where necessary.
Executive Secretary NUC Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid and other speakers are concerned about the quality of distant and open learning, which stems from appropriate policy and implementation.
Global trends indicate that ODE or ODL leverages on information and communication technology in achieving increased access, flexibility of learning, and provision of opportunity for lifelong learning.
In their presentations of changing the narratives of mass education in the 21st century in Nigeria and opportunities of online learning in meeting global demands, experts say it is important to encourage more dual institutions.
Things change every day. There's a need now to revamp it. We should make it comprehensive and extensively futuristic.
The opportunity that we have here is absolutely immense.
Participants at the symposium agreed that proper implementation of the open and distance learning will help Nigeria deal with illiteracy faster than anticipated. In Abuja, Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And thousands of workers from different labor organizations have staged a protest in Kaduna over proposed plan by Kaduna State government to disengage thousands of teachers and local government workers. Austin Ibe reports that national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, were also part of the protesters.
This is the popular Independence Way in the heart of Kaduna town. As you can see behind me, the road has been taken over by protesters made up of members from different unions. It is a convergence of workers from various unions under the aegis of the Nigerian Labour Congress, led by the national president, Comrade Ayub Awaba. The protest rally is to condemn the move by Governor Nasiru Hamid El-Rufai's plan to disengage more than 21,000 teachers and several thousands of local government workers. This move the Labour leaders described as being at variance with the agenda of the APC-led government. They want to use the issue of competency tests as a small screen to make sure that they sack workers. Well, let me say that the competency test, first, it lacks credibility. It's like transparency. But importantly, they are not the appropriate even agency to carry out such an... One that if any teacher or local government staff is disengaged, they will mobilize the entire workers of both federal and other tiers of government to proceed on strike.
Is a battle that must be won by Nigerian workers. I will want to assure you that with the Nigerian Labour Congress, you have no cause to fear.
We are here to challenge his action. We are here to demand your intervention, God. Labour president, alongside other union leaders who took time to speak, say they wonder why workers have become the target of the governor since he assumed office, adding that he has no right to conduct any examination for teachers without the involvement of the Teachers Registration Council and the National Teachers Institute. The national president led the protesters to the Kaduna State House of Assembly, where they registered their grievances. In Kaduna, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Now, meanwhile, the Permanent Secretary, Kaduna State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Adamu Mansir, has responded to the protest by the teachers and the decision to disengage the teachers that failed the competency test. Well, details of that will come in our subsequent bulletin. And that's it on NTA Nationwide. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello. Enjoy the rest of your day.